Hello, it's Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator. How about another mellow video? I'm sitting in the office and we're just chilling around, answering some questions. I've got some help now, so we're getting twice as many questions answered. After we were looking at some retreat places for rent around the world. Well, not for rent, for sale. But anyways, I wanted to thank everybody for so much positive feedback. I know that you guys appreciate the fact that I'm actually a real human being. Isn't that amazing? I thought that on raw foods, all your problems instantly went away and you never got upset anymore and everything was just perfect. And you just dance around the maypole and the butterflies are singing and all the angels are hovering around. It's not like that. In fact, it can be just the opposite. You know, like I'm on day 5 of a juice cleanse right now. And obviously for me, I mean, my body's pretty clean, but for me it's always more emotional, mental. So as as your body gets cleaner and cleaner through the years, you know, that part can be pretty easy to clean out your colon, to get your kidneys flowing pretty good and that kind of thing, and your digestion, if you get plenty of sleep and you avoid stress, which is kind of like the challenging thing for me. There's a lot of stress sometimes, but I see that it also is a reflection of internal issues, which is just insecurities and fears and things like that. I know that most raw food people don't have that. Because like I said, the angels are always floating around after you start eating fruits and vegetables and raw foods, everything. It's perfect, but it never was like that for me. It continues to be a challenge. Maybe that's only because of the intention that I set is really high, and I demand the most from myself in a loving way. But you know, I've had really very powerful teachers, and I have very high intentions set. So I'm continually working on purifying my heart. So I appreciate you, being patient with me and continuing to watch these videos so that I can continue to do what I love, which maybe it's not as fun as it used to be, but it's still just as important. The dynamics have changed a little bit, so when I was in front of the RV it was cool, and it was fun, and I didn't have to take any of it seriously. But then I realized over the years that I have skills and knowledge that is, the world is desperate for, because people just don't even have a clue. And for me it's all pretty easy because I've read so many books and been doing this for myself. Now, if I could tell you all how to purify your heart and relinquish the deeply embedded fears, I would definitely do that. Myself, I'm going through that process as I get more aware and give up food as a drug, even the raw food. The nuts and the heavy foods and the spices and the salts and the olives and all that other stuff and the avocados and the fat and all the more stimulating raw foods can still be used as a way to divert yourself from unpleasantness, if you will. But it's very important that I go through this unpleasantness, because what's on the other side, I believe, is what I'm seeking. So if you're in hell, just keep on going is basically what I'm trying to say, because there's a reason why all that's happening. And I apologize that these videos seem to take a twist and I only talk about myself, but the thing is that's my main source of knowledge, understanding, and revelation as I go through this myself. The amount of courage that it takes, it's okay if it was just me sitting in this room, detoxing my heart, feeling scared, I want to say the word itless, but I'll leave out the SH. Scared itless of what? I don't even know. Just fear, like of not being loved and stuff. Not being loved by the YouTube, which obviously some people are going to love you and some people aren't. Most of it's love, so I got to try to focus on that. But I don't really get that stoked when someone says, "Hey Dan, I've lost 120 pounds and I don't have cancer anymore, so thank you." I don't really get that elevated. It's like, oh, that's just how it works when you eat raw foods. But if there's a negativity, I really feel that. And that's just coming from inside myself. So I'm doing my best to take responsibility for my feelings and how these comments and things affect me. So I definitely do things sometimes that are, you know, not the best professional decisions, but most importantly, they may not be the best spiritual decisions because, you know, but it's easy for people to give you advice when they're not the one who's the daily YouTube show, who's been constantly, you know, for 3 years straight. Now, 97% of it is love, but like I said, that doesn't really lift you up that much. It's weird, but the negativity brings you down. It's almost like I'm in myself, I'm at a pretty high level, and then like negativity of some sort of criticism. It's like it really sticks out in my experience. So, but it's good though because it humbles me and it reminds me of how human I am, and it gives me an opportunity to be a human being. I mean, if you're going to have a teacher, it's probably good if they're a human being. And sometimes our teachers and our gurus and advocates and leaders are in front of the thing. They're, hey, everything's great and I don't do anything wrong and I'm perfect, you know. And then you get to know them in real life and you're like, wait a minute, dude. You don't eat like you teach. You don't think like you teach. You don't walk the walk like you teach. Well, no, but I sell books and I sell programs and I got to do this. But my brand has been built up on just, yo, I'm a regular dude. I got hella issues, probably just the same as or any of you, because I don't hardly ever meet anybody without issues. So this is just a real video, Life or Dinner, trying to get myself back on course. I made a couple videos today with some clients, helping them, you know, do mostly free consultations, but they're a little bit shorter, 20 minutes, half an hour. If you want the full hour, you know, I charge for that. But mainly just trying to help people. I mean, money's cool and I really like it, but in my opinion, so far myself, this is my honest opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like I've sold out for the money. I don't feel like I'm that commercialized, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I do have my little Invisalign to get my teeth straightened, which I'm not wearing right now. I probably should be. And I do have plans on, like, I'd like to have money to open a retreat center or just have a good place to live, really, because Oakland is really, it's cool, and I'm very thankful for this little office/bedroom that I'm staying in, a great little apartment in Oakland. A little bit loud, a little bit busy, so not as epic as like trees and birds and stuff while I'm in a healing modality. You guys might be looking at me 10 years from now still healing myself. When I'm talking about healing, I'm talking about enlightenment, basically, like healing my mind, and that could take a lifetime, you know what I mean? So it's easy to lose weight. That's simple. It's pretty easy to get rid of pretty much every disease. Some of them are a little bit harder, type 1 diabetes, or more really deeply embedded chronic genetic issues. But there's a cell is a cell, and you can regenerate it and energize. The challenging part is the emotional and the mental stuff. I mean, well, the physical stuff, it's all a challenge, and it never ends. You just keep on going. I mean, my body's in really good shape. I have great skin and all that stuff, but should I stop there? Am I good enough now? Or am I aware of the sensitivities and the possibilities of a more expanded level of consciousness where there's just more of that God piece? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not afraid to say it, because ultimately, if I had a choice, I would be a God lover, and I would love God as good as I can, for as much as I can, for as hard as I can, with all of my heart, you know. And do I do that all the time? No, I forget a lot. I get all bent out of shape at a few little tiny insignificant things, but that's because I'm very sensitive and I have insecurity issues. So what's the big deal, right? I mean, I'm just a human being. And I forget that so I was thinking today, I mean, on one level, like, I'm really, like, on point. I mean, it's like, the way I eat's really cool, the way I think, you know, it's just, I like myself. And sometimes I forget that I'm probably able to help a lot of people to understand this stuff. Raw foods is going to it's going to save you. It's going to save everybody living in a human organism, especially when you get those local, in-season, highly energizing foods. Here's another thing, too, I wanted to tell people, is to avoid negativity. And those are your own thoughts even. You know, so we're really working on the mind here and trying to not let the mind get into a state of hate. but a state that's great when you're thinking about what you're grateful for. And believe me, I mess up more than any of you, but I always come back to understanding, because like you get so darn sensitive on these raw food diets and these cleanses and stuff that you can really feel what's going on. July 4th, I didn't sleep at all that night. And it was because of insane levels of fear and worry. And it was like I was just worried to death almost. But it was processing and coming up, and I was like on day 3 of a juice cleanse, you know, and that's about the day when that kind of stuff, where there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. You can stay drunk on avocados and crackers and sauerkraut and spices and hot peppers and everything like that. Stay jacked up on all that and kind of avoid feeling your feelings. But when it comes down to cleansing and stuff, you're working with those simple foods, subtle, almost bland even, if you will, but sweet and energizing. You know, the melons, the grapes, the cherries, those really high cleansing fruits that are going to dissolve a lot of accumulations. And when you dissolve those accumulations, you're going to also dissolve a lot of the emotional memories attached with those foods that were eaten at the time that the metabolic wastes were left behind. So when you're eating in a state of stress or fear or worry or anxiety, you're reabsorbing that energy into your cells. And as you begin to release those energy from the cells through those high energy fruits and vegetables, you're going to re-experience a lot of that stuff. And that's why cleansing and detoxing and regenerating your mind, heart, and your body is really challenging, and why I find that most people don't ever do it. A lot of people do really well, lose the weight and stuff, maybe gain some back, but you don't see that many people that actually have like a complete and total regeneration. The losing weight's pretty easy, but when we're talking about deeply embedded scar tissue and occlusions that are way deep down buried in the kidneys and in the livers, can take a little while to clean that out as well. You've got to do some type of ketosis. And there's a lot of the raw food regimens that will give you a lot of supplementation. They will also give you a lot of carbohydrates, but very few are actually going to tell you what you need to know, and that is the fact that you need to break down the coagulated tissue. And the only way to do that is some type of caloric restriction, which is not very popular. And it's not an eating disorder either. It's just the way that it is. When you water fast to eliminate a disease from your body, do you have an eating disorder, or are you just following the oldest healing modality in the history of life itself? I'm not even going to talk about humanity. I'm going to talk about life itself. And so it's just a very natural process. This liquid diet has been pretty natural, really, and once you get going on it, you may not have as much energy to do a lot of things, and it may be kind of boring, but your body does have a chance to get well. You can't be excited and busy all the time. Very few humans actually take time to get some rest. I highly recommend it. I've had some myself the last 5 days basically on juice. Not complete rest, but I'm getting better. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot for even more deeper rest and quiet the mind even more. Because it's the mind that makes you think you need to get up and do something and go here and go there and be productive. But really the most productive thing that most of us could do is slow down, relax, get a grasp on these tumultuous emotions and thoughts and fears, and really have a chance to process them. I'll share one last thing and I'll let you go, other than the fact that I love fruits and I love herbs, and I think those are the 2 best foods to energize and heal your body. You've heard me say that before, but I really want to encourage people to start getting into a place where they can expand their mind and get into slower, lower, more expansive levels of consciousness. And the way that we do that is through relaxation, basically. One of my favorite ways is to lay on a bed with some really good music. Da Vinci Brainwaves, Inspired Tranquility is one of my favorites. It's kind of like ocean waves and gongs and real slow. Gung, gung, gung. It's cool, and it just relaxes you and gets you into a theta state. So what I'm saying is that when you can get into these altered brainwave states, it's not altered consciousness like devil worship. Some people are going to say that, of course. But I'm just talking about meditation, basically. So that because all of your health problems are stemming from the central control unit up here, which is your human brain. And it's traumas and fears that have created blockages in your nervous system, but there's even a much more subtle level than that, which I won't go into in this video, but there are very subtle energetic vibrations in the universe, and our mind has been programmed with a lot of things, and then the energy gets obstructed. So we're trying to energize ourselves, clear our consciousness, and just see what's going on inside of us. You know, I like to, experiencing the fear all night and not sleeping at all really sucked. But on the other hand, while I was going through it, I knew it must be done. What am I going to do? Get on the computer, go eat something? It would be like, why would I want to do that? Because I wanted to get through it. And I wouldn't say I'm all the way through it at all, but at least I had the courage to go through it that one night. Then the next night I slept like a rock, you know what I'm saying? And I felt I'm on a whole nother level. But I'm not saying that my heart is purified. Today I was really thinking about how I would like to really purify my heart and become much more of an unconditional lover of people and myself. The attacks on other people through the comments on YouTube are a reflection of what's going on in me. That I see the critic in me as I see it in them. So I'm taking 100% responsibility for my life, what I attract into it, and what I allow to affect me in a negative way. Maybe I'm not 100% responsible, but I like that. And so if I'm wrong, I'll change later. But for now, I'm going to be 100% responsible for what's going on in my life, what's going on in my mind, what I'm attracting to me, and what I'm allowing to bother me. And if I had real compassion and had a higher vision, it would be a lot easier to see that nobody's really malicious. And if they are, they're just projecting at me their unresolved, unconscious hatred that they have towards themselves, because no one can tell me that they don't have fears, because the fear is so deeply embedded inside the human psyche. I mean, our whole society is based on fear. We hardly even know what love is. But before I leave this planet, I sure would like to know what divine and unconditional love is. So I'm going to continue to align myself with that field of energy as much as possible, as well as read books on it, study it, and speak that word and practice those practices which I think would be unconditionally loving, you know? And sometimes my behavior on YouTube does not reflect that. So I apologize again, and I thank you so much for just being patient with me. I am evolving, in my opinion. I would say that I feel that I am. So if I'm not in front of the RV with clown wigs and stuff right now, hey, if I had my clown wig, I'd be wearing it right now, though, for real. But I'm just saying, because I'm not going to take any of this that seriously, but I will tell you, though, if you listen to some of the stuff I say because of these experiences that I'm having, at least you'll feel better that there's another person out there going through this stuff, and he's not afraid to say it because he's never been afraid to be a human being. I've never been afraid or ashamed of being human. Sometimes I'm ashamed of my behavior, but being human, I don't remember asking God, hey God, send me down to earth and make me a human. Maybe I did, though, on one level or another, but here I am, and I'm just making the best of it, and everyone can see that. And there's a lot of real positive people that send me a lot of support and stuff like that, and that definitely does keep me going. And a lot of people have benefited from this, losing weight, getting rid of diseases, and then eventually moving up into true levels of real detoxification and healing. It's possible for anybody. And there's no such thing as an incurable disease. A lady wrote me today, my disease is much more impossible. The research says this and this. Well, the researchers are medical men with a medical training, and they're not regenerative specialists or healers, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have a pill for that, is what the research is saying, that this is an incurable disease because we don't have a pill that suppresses those symptoms. Well, regeneration of cells is possible for anyone on any level. Is it going to be some hard work? Yes. Are you going to have to give up a lot of things? Yes. Did you get to go into a 3-week choose fast and then go have Thanksgiving with your family and ruin the whole thing, all your progress? You might want to watch for that stuff. You miss your friends going to the raw food restaurant. I don't know, but you've got work to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that popular, because who wants to eat fruit the rest of their life? What about Mexican food and Thai food? Well, let me tell you what. Like I said before, nothing tastes as good as health feels. And I've had a little small taste of health. And so I'm looking to create the conditions in my life somewhere in nature so that I can really let go, which is the biggest thing, is me learning how to let go, you know. And I want to encourage you to do that too, to learn how to let go and let go of that Protestant work ethic that says you should be up doing something right now. And you're going, well, I'm on the middle of a juice feast and I need to relax my nervous system so that I can heal. At least that's what Dan the Life Regenerator said. So I'm going to try it. And then you read all these other great books and they'll tell you the same thing. And any great healer will tell you that you need to go relax if you want to heal. And I know you have kids and I know you have bills and I know you got to fit this into an insane world. But there is a way. You know, there is a way, there's always a way, and you never want to lose hope. If anything at all, even if I don't even know what I'm talking about, at least I want to give you hope, because really, God can do anything, and life is a miracle. So I just wanted to check in and say hello, and thank you all very much for everything that you've done for me over the years. I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go, but it is cool to help people to get healthy. So I will continue to answer questions, and leave your phone number if you leave questions on askdan@regenerateyourlife.org, and then subscribe to these videos, and also sign up for the Insiders Club. We're going to have some question and answer videos over there, trying to you know, answer some stuff over there. And anyways, I will continue with these videos even though I've been kind of going through hell lately personally, but today was a much better day. So anyways, but I got a lot of work to do, so you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to let anything stop me, you know what I'm saying, from this mission of healing myself personally. And then the YouTube thing, I kind of really do dig it, you know what I'm saying. So I love you and I really appreciate you a lot. So God bless you and take care of yourself. Anything's possible. It's a miracle. Peace.